left in a GX's hands. A slow start from her on this map, but at no point can you count.
It is going to be G2 that I think you have to favor. Incredibly strong defensive sides of what we've seen from them so far on this map, and it's no surprise that KC.
I mean, defense is the better side here. Yeah.
It's an iconic match for the side of KC,
I would
and
have
getting
been
that
such an
leg
important
up,
kill.
already managing to
She's
catch Nello, and that is a death trap that they've sprung in mid.
That was a whiff.
We managed to remove the
That's right,
lurker, but the full force of the squad still looking to come in
Good
elsewhere.
util.
The defense have managed to get into
Wait,
a decent
no way.
position. The spike looking to be planted right at the
Bro,
back. And
what
there's
are
that
we
missed one.
doing?
That's incredibly deep. Yeah, normally going to see a bit more of a passive role, but it seems like the attack are trying to get aggressive, trying to get into the faces of these KC players. Amy kind of gets away with one and leaves it onto Vania. And if there's anybody you'd want in these late round scenarios, she is. I think we'll have heard the steps as well, so has a decent idea. Spike stolen. Mid, she could just leave.
Yeah.
Oh, she could. But instead, she's going to
Oh my
sell
God.
the idea that she's left. That the
Oh my God, I
A-site's the
love
new
this.
target, tucked in the corner. Vanya will be spotted, though.
He gets
Glance.
cleared.
A sharp knife
Wow.
in this battle. 4K picked
Well
up
played from
in the
Glance.
pistol round.
Of those opening battles. She is someone that wants to get into the face of opponents. Wow, this pretty much says exactly what I wanted to say. When it comes to the other side, a lot of the time it's GX.
That's right.
All right, it might be an eco ace, but it's an ace nonetheless.
It's like a
I honestly
duelist
don't even
gets
mind it
aggressive
because it's
and,
an omen.
well, I
If it
think
was someone
your
else,
point's been
it would be
proven
way,
exactly a couple
way worse, you know?
Where you expect it to be. As I was mentioning, you're going to see Akita as the tip of this spear pretty much every single round. She is involved.
Yeah, Safia.
heavily
Yeah,
with the early
you're playing
fights for
Cypher
G2,
without your
and has a
setup.
lot of
Yeah,
setup
swing like
around her
that.
a lot
Yeah,
of the
good job,
time.
bro. Good job.
In this round, not so
We like
much.
that.
More of a dry
We like
peak,
that.
more of an individual
doing
show
that, bro.
of brilliance. And I think we've seen it countless amount of times now. The amount of players that have come into this G2 Gozen roster, maybe not the most well known in terms of the duelist role, and then managed to just take over. Someone we do know very well, Alkia, is going to put this level.
Yeah, and they've already got the read thanks to Glance immediately re-clearing B, peeking in after Safi had gone down. They knew players were not committing. They weren't taking space of the A sites where the hit was coming in. But GX isn't able to stop them at the first choke point. The advantage
stacking here.
is
We
that
have your
all
gold,
of the
though.
players are here. The disadvantage is that with that orb, Amy has gotten the ult online. Thrash is sent in. That forces Anasilia forward into the waiting arms of Mimi. Glance does well.
So we're
Was
not clear
very,
inside,
a
or?
very big part of why they won that pistol with 4 picks on the board. But Akita puts her to bed. And with 12 seconds left, a plant will be acquired by Wingman. Alkia with almost no choice but to let that go through. If Alkia does find sight on
secured,
Akita
but now-
or Amy, though, it's only going to be one bullet.
I don't
to
know what
take
we're
them
doing
down.
sometimes.
So a good chance to at least make this costly and maybe have a shot at the round.
I think we're a bit nervous.
Opportunity, but anything more is definitely going to be difficult. Of course, saving this
Yes.
sniper doesn't really have too much.
I mean, Thrash,
value.
if Thrash runs faster than Neon, I don't know what I'm
Be able
watching.
to clearing and
Nello
spotting
is
it.
there
It
again.
seems like there's a clear idea of where
Or she forces Amy to
Nello
swing
is going
because
to be.
otherwise she's dead.
Anasilia, someone who had a fantastic
I don't like the
performance
way we're
yesterday
lurking on
Split.
it. It's
It's
not
going to be
good.
the one to get that open, and Nello hasn't really been able to find that same level of impact that you sort of come to expect. And while that jump peak may be a little bit wider than expected,
Yeah.
these 1v1 duels
Not
have
good
not
enough
been
because
going the way of G2.
The whole
Well,
thing about
KC
lurking is you need to have
look
pressure,
set,
but we're
really.
lurking
I
without
would be
pressure.
disappointed
So
KC were to
if
let
there's
this
no
one
pressure,
slip overall.
they're gonna be looking at you.
Well, this
Because
would
there's no
end.
gap.
Disappointed in KC, perhaps very impressed with Mimi and Vanya,
We should say
and maybe
Yeah.
even confused as to why, with at the time 30 seconds left on the clock, they went barreling into the site with these weapons. That this call has been made, a save.
But it was a
with
pretty
2
bad
weapons
round
carried
overall,
forward,
like-
and it's no real puzzle to solve.
We had no
Take a look
pressure
at
on
the
B, we had
HUD
no
on the
pressure on
right
A.
side. 2 players.
When it's your map choice, there are expectations that you'll be able to do it on both. Early days.
But look
the
at our
rifles, as you
scalability. It's
mentioned,
so
with
slow.
those saved couple
So
of
we use the
guns,
flash.
We'll be coming back in.
We
no
see
lurks
nothing.
this time either.
Okay, what's
we
next,
saw
you
Nello
know? Like, we need to be
consistently try
quicker.
play
The bridge
towards
is
middle.
already rotating.
Instead, she's grouping up
For
with
some
the
reason,
squad,
they
and they're
stopped
pushing
and are
into the
gonna go
cypher
back.
setup
But
with
now,
Safia.
we touch the orb.
Yeah,
We make
they
noise.
heard the
But we're still not
double
going.
flashes from G2 coming in towards
So what are
this
we
A
doing
site,
here?
But KC weren't sure if maybe it was going to be a fake, and with some Cypher utility holding the site, they're confident in waiting for this push because they don't want to get caught by the showstopper, and this time they won't. GX making it out
gonna get spammed.
unscathed. Now here, is the problem. Those traps have to be contended with on the site. That one-way smoke buys GX a bit of time.
Wait,
but
Nello's
it's
in the
fading
turret.
now, and there's the swing. It's GX to come out on top. Nello falls, and that is a solid pick. I thought GX was dead to rights.
Yeah, that happens a lot. She's able to survive in scenarios. Akita,
Really nice
with the
really
swing off the
nice.
util. As said, this G2 roster
my
does well
God.
to set her up, but now she's all that's standing.
He has an 8.
Two in her way. First will work out, and she's gonna close out Glance as well. The new player on the block pulls out a Red Bull
Akita.
clutch within just 5 rounds for G2 Gozen.
I thought it was going to be Glance in with another 4K, ready to sing her praises. Put up one hell of a fight on that side after the util dump, but
Looks like the hit towards the A site is the plan once again.
Oh,
That's
cleared.
not been cleared properly. Because of it, these trades have come in thick and fast. The swing through the smoke is there for Alkia as well. And on a straight-up contact play, failing miserably for G2. This time as well, back on the lurk is Nello. Why? I think if she gets anything from this scenario again,
I mean,
it'll
our
have to be
comp
a
is
miracle.
terrible on attack, in my opinion. So let's just try
without
to
a
win
doubt.
4 rounds.
and again,
Double initiator combo working together to just basically place util in mid, get info, and just work together to basically clear this one up. This is looking squeaky clean once
sorry.
again.
now, well, lead back. They haven't had the lead the whole game. Now,
Sure.
there we go. That's a big connection. I think that's her first pick so far, and a
Yeah.
very valuable one indeed with Alkia down.
And it's been a lot of the pressure on mid where her lurks have just been isolated so easily. Second showstopper of the game, but the rest of the squad are walking up towards this A site. The fact is, though, the defense are doing exactly the same. Timing here going to be everything as they swing in, but
Bro.
Glance does incredibly well, considering
We have
that was
Gecko
2
ult,
versus
Gecko
3 in
flash,
that exact
Paranoia,
scenario.
Reach
They
flash,
managed to pull one out of the back.
Reach
The problem,
this,
though,
and we're
is that
dry
now
peeking.
Akita, their duelist, who's ended up lurking, has taken the B site for free.
Yeah, they went back towards A thanks to the pick that they'd found and managing to deal with that. Even with
30
Glance
seconds
finding so many, it's given them this little bit of space. And Akita rips the round wide open. Now it's GX, the player that we hailed, the player who picked up
we
an
go
ace
back
in
main
round
and play
number
together,
2
it's
that has to
unlosable.
clutch this out. And the problem is, look at what she's up against. This
We have
isn't a
Race
simple
Nate,
pop
we have
2 heads,
Molly,
and it's an
we have
easy
Gecko
game. How it's
Flash,
Amy and Akita
we
on
have
the other side,
2
but
Satchels,
ultimates in
we
play.
have
A
Race
showstopper,
Rocket.
a thrash, and GX walking in. The contact is found. Akita's down. Paranoia's good, and it's going to buy some time. Smoke going down on the diffuse. Already
Molly,
underway. Amy's
Molly.
heard it. Desperately trying to stop that diffuse, but it's been
Oh, but they're
stuck
wrong.
under her nose. Up against the odds. GX comes out on top.
I can't believe it. And we used the ult. I honestly, wow, I have nothing
She
to say.
holds herself in the
Is he Mitchman? Okay.
There's been some rounds where it looks like G2 were about to connect it, but those
I
rounds,
just
they are
saw
few and far
yesterday
between
with a
right
different
now.
partner, so...
A 7th looking likely. Weak weapons, a deep push, and at least a trade for G2, but these weapons, they get weaker and weaker as players fall by the wayside until it's Mimi in a 1v3, a player
Not
flanking.
looking good for our pick.
And a
I
round
mean,
secured
I
for
really
KC.
don't think it has
5 rounds,
anything
now
to
the
do with our
maximum
pick.
that
For
G2
some
can leave
reason,
this half with.
we're mentable.
She's also calling. Here goes Akita. Oh, it's just filthy. It was a trap play, knowing that she might try and do this again. The trips were far more aggressive. And well, aggressive is the only word you can use for GX in these moments.
It's never in doubt. With how these rounds have gone so far, it is a wonder that KC didn't come in picking this map. In fact, maybe they would have if G2 didn't swing in first, because they're looking
right.
unbelievable. The curse may be the best hope for G2 when it comes to that second half.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a decent start. The star duelist has gone down. Yeah, I know it shows an omen, but GX. There is always another to replace. Glance has been having a fantastic performance so far. Was hunting for the trips, found a cam, and found the majority of the squad. And actually, with the information, they're
Come
going to
on, go, go, go.
realize that Glance is the only one really in support. She does have her ultimate, though. And that's why she might be playing a little bit more
So
passive.
we're not smoking.
Oh, that's connected once. Not quite twice, but Rolling Thunder put back
Then
through by
smoke
KC.
City.
They're happy to dump
We
a
one
lot
wait City, but they're
of what
close.
they have into this round, trying to bridge the gap, and it's Safia to do it. Akita
Hey.
on the floor, and a new hero needed for the side of G2. The spam, it's not pretty, and Asia still alive in that corner and buying time for the other battles to go down. Nello on
Vanya
5
assaults.
HP,
We're gonna
Vanya
run
on
B and ult.
63, but they've found themselves free passage to this B site. Now, you might
Yeah,
be
take the
thinking, but they
spike.
haven't got the spike!
They know though.
Of course, they have got the ultimate from Vanya, so it will be picked up from the shadows and brought back into the light on the B side.
She died to
Nello's
a wall.
died to the trap
No.
wire. Oh man, 5 HP. It's enough.
She died to a wire.
That's something you never see. That's literally something you never see, especially on a site where there's nobody there, no pressure, just a mistake. And now Vanya's left alone to try and clutch this one out. It was already looking rough, but she might just hit the timing. First comes for free. But now Glance is the player on the other side. She has been fantastic so
that
far.
smoke
And
is
already
not in her
we've seen a
favor,
stick
no?
under the nose of an opponent. The questions will be asked, and Vanya
Needs to go
has
out
to
of that
face
smoke.
versus Glance, who is waiting on the other side. It is a 9th round onto the board for KC.
I wonder why that is. Perhaps it's a play towards the other side of the map. The drones to re-clear mid. Well, this time there's no re-clearing mid. They are going running and gunning.
nadie rompe el
A
reveal
triple
y
kill
nos
for
matan de uno en
Alkia.
uno.
It looks like more on the cards. Finishing it out with a 4K, and the dreams of 9-3, they have crumbled to ash in their hands. My goodness, KC are looking confident.
Right now, I don't think they're thinking that anymore. Probably sweating a little bit, as it's already way past the point of expectation. B2 are going to be playing this one very passively on the A site, but I do wonder if this is something that KC are prepared for. Just taking out the cam and then just sitting pretty, waiting to see if there's any noise or rotations. They've got the same sort of lurk from Safia to give them that idea, but there isn't. It's just looking like a full retake with a singular kill trip, and they've already found it.
The A site taken and no real contest after the trip goes down. It looks like they were thinking about getting a little bit aggressive, but it's not needed. Look at this late play from Safia, hiding. A snake in the grass, set to strike. Timing will be everything. And they wait for Alkia to step forward, paranoia in tow, helping to sell that fight forward as Safia strikes
that is how you
from
lurk.
behind. A double, a triple, in fact. And now G2, a pistol is where hope was lying.
That is the
Well,
exact
it may be
definition
where hope
of
is
how
dying
lurking
as
works.
KC take another
Whenever
step
we are
towards
pushing sides,
victory
she
on their
initiates the
opponent's
lurk
map pick.
because she has the pressure.
Yeah,
Find an engagement onto
O
Glance.
sea, al final,
Mid-fight.
perder
They
contra uno,
push
perder
down to
contra
try to
otro,
claim
has
that
perdido
space,
igual,
but
tío.
Akita's dropped. The bookie is
He's
now
going
gone.
through.
They've gone in for the fight with Stingers waiting. An incalculable response from G2 as the element of surprise gets them a 4v3. A lot of space taken by Safia here, and still big weapons awaiting these defenders as they move back to the B site.
I'm gobsmacked that Alkia goes running through there. I think must have assumed there was only one, or maybe just assumed she's got fantastic
Speak one by one
teammates to
again.
save the day. Well, Safia had the full
Oh
squad
my
facing
God.
off against her there. Maybe
What
a
is
little
going on
disjointed,
today,
but
man?
even still,
What is going on
she's
today?
made that one look very easy indeed. Put Mimi, well, with 2 kills to her name and 2 kills needed. Not the
It's
greatest
unwinnable.
plant spot of all time, but just look how much util they've got to just waste her time altogether when it finally gets close to.
That's right.
It's got to feel like whatever they've done in terms of preparing for this match, it went right. The triple kill, and that's gonna put G2 to bed. Vanya and Nello, a bulldog
Go
and a
next.
specter, and they're up
And
against
Safia's
all
gonna get the last
5
two, and
of
it's over.
KC.
Oh,
Dear
very
Lord.
good.
Pania in a 1v5. They're playing like today has been an immovable object, an unstoppable force. A 13-2 coming on their opponent's
Well,
map choice.
we need to reset.
It's not getting any more dominant than that today.
Start playing.
That
Guess,
is a
this was not it.
stellar result.
Versus
look-
KC, I'm not sure I believe in that.
after the map we just saw. It's a very valid point. Now you can see this deep aggressive play from KC, knowing that they're not going to come up against any sort of trips. GX already able to take one, but G2 going deep through that left side of B and making their way to the C site. They're addressing this push from KC by wrapping around behind them, but now holding on to that space. Another challenge, sending 2 players towards the spawn. A reactive paranoia with a cross.
Do we have a
not
smoke?
quite
Nope.
watch. This will be a timing-based battle, but Glance again in the pistol
Why
round,
are we
stepping up to
pushing
carry your
CT?
team across the line. That's a double that's left a lot of pressure on the backs of these remaining players, with Vanya's flash connecting, but the kills not following. It's Mimi to do it all, and nothing to be found. A strong start here on this map with 4 players left alive, and a good response from KC after a bit of a spanner thrown into the works by G2 with that deep B push.
They're really going to struggle because
You can play
their
for
opponents
City
have already
and
proved
stay
that
there
they're going to disrespect
outside
them
of
throughout the
sight.
match.
Well, a 1-0 start and no contest from G2 in round number 2. They've gone in with just a bunch of classics. A single Sheriff in play.
Oh,
It's
nice.
already found its mark. Akita
Nice shot.
desperately low even going into that fight, but finding something, and Vanya does exactly the same. Despite low HP on the players, already a
why are we
decent
pushing
amount
all the
of
fucking
impact,
time?
with Akita and Mimi falling
When we have
so
side
quickly.
control.
This leaves
Hello?
a lot of pressure on Vanya. A couple kills
Can
here.
we stop pushing?
Make the economy a bit more modest on that defensive side. We'll see if it's attainable. It's definitely not. Good position from Anasia, and 2-0 for KC.
Let's just get Nello to play without any of her normal kit. It is very weird. Playing on hard mode.
Pues porque eso no
Really
stream en
is.
inglés, la verdad.
Really and truly. Now this
Nice.
push from Akita has found a lot. One player going down in response was Mimi, caught by the utility on the cross, but the site is seized.
She's gonna
Their
die.
shock darts are good. They almost took Amy down.
Nice.
That shield though regenning up, and the plan's eventually coming through. From here, look at what KC are working with, fighting back through this. It's already 2 players pushing B, so they're quite disconnected. You see this little fallback from Glance,
Come on,
clearing
man.
the back of a flank.
Nello has to lurk. There's gonna be 2
Ultimately-
people lurking.
Glance's position is nothing more than a distraction, not one that will work with Nello, as you said, playing that role without the utility, watching for these players coming up behind, and, well, now in a bit of trouble. That paranoia is connected. The player is down. The response, though, from G2, push deep again.
Still making this one costly.
One enemy remaining.
TP across doesn't really get anything, and bear in mind that Alki is kind of the one with something to lose. That rifle can be brought through to the next round, so it's the same as what we saw in the previous. It's like a little bit of damage. They've made things
Yeah,
costly,
this was a nice push, but because they
ultimately
had
just gonna try and
util,
hold on
so
to the gun for the next round. Not a bad
this just
round
kind of looks like Akita versus
overall
KC.
for
I agree.
G2
I agree.
Gozen, but again, it doesn't.
I'm a huge
I think
fan
the
of
no
playing
Viper
with a
is the
Sentinel,
surprising thing.
perhaps in
No
her
Viper
place,
on
as
either
often
team
that
on
will be the
Lotus when
revolving door
Viper
in
is literally
composition
the most,
potentially.
in my opinion, the
That can
strongest
work
agent
as well,
on this
but
map.
what I'm seeing here,
That is
perhaps I
the-
lack the depth
that is
of
the crazy
knowledge
part.
of this composition and its values.
I
see
would play.
lots
I would
of good
personally play
utility for
Arcom,
G2,
but with Viper
but
instead
in
of
terms of how you're going
Clove.
to apply it,
But the idea of the Clove is kind
Yeah,
of like
you know,
Maybe they got
played like
pick
a
me up
Viper,
idea.
in a way.
Pick me up. And they're not dead yet.
Yeah. I mean-
perhaps that's it. Metal deep into A. Well,
But now you
Akita's
get to
gone
find
down.
out.
Well, I was
There you
talking
go.
defense
But,
more so, but let's on
yeah,
attack,
that was a
double
right
initiator
pick.
going in. Paranoia, you've
I
got a lot
guess.
of options.
So what are we doing?
Didn't mention
Now?
the
Are we
mountain
just
meadows.
gonna hold for 1 more minute?
Here we go. B site is the play. And Acilia. That was actually running
Okay.
into a trip, I think, for
That
Nello.
was good.
The medal has put Safia down to 1 HP. It
And,
doesn't make a
Spike
difference,
down.
though.
But she pushed
Thomas
Heaven.
just walked in and domed them both anyway. It is a immediate response after the...
Someone
bonus
has to
round went the way
explain me why we're
G2.
pushing all the time
But this
instead
has
of
been
staying outside. Someone
maybe
has to
more of
explain
an
that to me.
overarching problem. I feel like
Like one person has
have
to
a lot
plant,
of faith
another person has
in the
to
new
hold.
duelist. I think she's been fantastic, but she's
One
very
person holding
heavily
versus 3 people
been
that can
involved
flood.
in most opening duels. Far
It just
more
doesn't
than what
make
we've
any
seen from
sense.
Casey on the other. Once Akita was dead, I didn't really feel like they were going to have a chance in the round.
Nice,
Perhaps that's
Akita.
the
Holy
logic.
shit.
Give Akita double initiator, give it the paranoia to work off of, and
Just
at
run them
every
down,
step of the
man.
game.
If Akita doesn't get
Barrier
4
up.
kills, we don't win the round.
Site take,
this
post
point.
plant, it doesn't matter. You can support her, but this time she's being dropped. Rolling Thunder, going deep.
Good start.
Alki is still in that corner though, and almost gets away with murder. Will eventually be dropped. And with this, KC left in a 2 versus 3 for his second, with Nello down. Much more achievable victory on the horizon. And I like this glance. Again, we complimented the utility on Sunset, this time being used just to clear out. They're worried, like, where is that player who we expect to be flanking up, especially after you're losing Safia. You got to be conscious of it. And then the Hunter's Fury thrown through, and it's got a pick as well, leaving Mimi on 20 HP with a Sheriff.
Look at the other players.
And now they just hold.
The only other
like Casey is just
call
miles
is
ahead
that
of us today.
push on the other side, and that's exactly where Anasilia is just waiting and watching.
Like the individual decision making from Casey is 10 times better than our individual decision making this whole series. Like 11 times better.
Where she wanted to live, except
it's going to start to get a little bit too familiar after that previous map. KC ran away with it, and they never came back. Well, now 3-round gap. G2 investing, looking for that deep push again. It's found so much value before, and this time it's Nello alongside Akita, pushing deep to find that pick. A double opening, in fact, and ready for Glance to re-aggress. This round put to bed in the opening seconds.
Good round. Good aftershock.
A little bit of extra time bought, but I don't think there's much to play with here. Economy a little bit low for KC and operator in hand for Alki.
Leaves players holding that control without the benefit of the composition that you've taken the risk to run. So
Nello has ult, so they're baiting her.
By all accounts. Now Nello has the ult to activate and will do so right here and now. Looking for a second bite of the cherry, pushing into Safia, but falling as the ultimate reveals these players. They have no choice but to back off.
Yeah, well,
nice, you got the kill.
Does work out in the end.
Insane.
And Safia are ending up being picked off. Definitely a bit more problematic. I don't even know how Alki could see anything there. That was an arm for a second, and that was enough for her to even things back up. Tries to get back towards the other side of the map and deny them space over on B. She'll at least stop them being able to push the other way, and has managed to connect again. It's going to be the laser beam fight, and Alkia comes out.
We have the side. Can we just land? Why are we pushing?
You miss it. That was
gonna go bold.
Clinical.
Literally, like, we have the sides. They have an op. They need to retake with an op. We have neonodes. Our utility is refreshing.
It's KC rising to the occasion in this matchup. A 3-round gap now. And G2 on their last legs when it comes to this economy game.
Cover going out.
Ready as well. 5 rounds on this defensive
Alki
side.
has an up line here on B.
Pretty stellar.
Nice, I'm sure. Okay, she's out.
Hello. Going to lead the charge this time out. Not going to quite be able to no-scope the Prowler. Haven't really been able to capitalize on things, and I don't mind that from Akita. She's trying to catch the player, utilizing the drone. It was GX who she met on the other side. The problem now, though, 45 seconds left, and they're only just starting to make their move. Alki again is going to kick things off with a
we use util, we get the op out of the line, then we use util again, we get the op out of the line again.
Through the smoke, I think it might have been.
But we didn't push it.
The stick from GX certainly not working out, but
we're just jumping ourselves. We're just giving KC all the kills. It's just like, hey, here, I'm coming. Get this kill.
At least section off the players, slow their push and allow them to be picked one at a time until it's Glance against the army of G2, falling at the final hurdle. Mimi with a triple kill and a 3rd round. Deep drone's gone through on C. This point, especially on a low buy, you've seen nobody there. That's when the rotations come through. That's when players start to move in the other direction. That's exactly what's happened. See, a fortress moments ago is almost abandoned. The ult being spotted certainly keeps them around, actually gets Anasia back in this direction. A 1-to-1 trade to start. The book comes out, and it comes up big with a double pick. Vanya does just the same, measuring up blow to blow with their opponents, but with this weak buy, it's already a good start for KC and a real opportunity for this to become so much more. The smoke fades. GX now stuck with a classic and a ranged fight.
Trust your gut.
It's not ideal.
You know it.
Mimi, of course, holding it down. They've got a good read, a good guess, perhaps. Glance again up against Mimi. This time, the rolling thunder put through. The respect clear in this battle. Mimi won the last one. Has a good idea where Glance is coming from. The reveal fired through. That's going to get the information. Glance pointed in the right direction, and the shot lands. The time plenty. And a big pick for KC, finding round 6 on the board for them.
It's a good call to
I love seeing those player cams as
West.
well afterwards, where GX is getting so hyped up seeing that clutch from Glance. It's been all day long. So important to bring that energy on the server. And Alkia, bringing the heat, bringing the pain to G2's front doorstep. It was 2 rounds that they managed in the previous map. They're sat here on 3 with Alkia looking the right direction.
Peekaboo.
It doesn't look like any more rounds are going to slip away. Certainly not if Alkia has something to say about it. A 7th assuredly on the board with 2 classics up against 5 well-armed players.
And then the majority, if you're going off stats,
No tengo una explicación.
they're probably needing at least 7 on the attack. So it's not looking great. It's not looking good, Brev. I'll put it that way. They're going for a knife kill. That's what GX did. GX, IGL, by the way, just went for a knife kill running into a smoke. She's not been playing with the team in most rounds.
Vanya and Akita on the half shields. The buy already showing some weaknesses. The scope in play this time, it's packing a bit more of a punch than we've seen before. Alkia with the upgrade, Akita with the opening pick. That's GX down. You talked about those opening
is alone with
there's
an
one that hasn't gone the right way. It's going to keep everyone towards this A side. All 3 of Alkia's teammates on that side as the ult, the flash, the prowler comes through. There's nothing to do but fall at the hands of Mimi as G2 flood the C side. Right 4 rounds now looking likely in a 5 versus 3.
Good ult usage. I think also you're still seeing those sort of aggressive plays from GX even when it hasn't been working. Kind of feeding into like what you kind of do want to see from G2, which is the more brawly style. Like they've definitely got the composition for that. So I'm not sure that's necessarily the best play in the world.
Bro, what the fuck
For the rest of the players, they might as well go for this. Finances are actually very good, and with Akita going down, maybe overdoing it just a little. They do have to be careful. Rolling Thunder actually going to be committed. They really are going for this, not just sitting back, and maybe that'll be their undoing. Vanya starting to join the party as well. That ultimate has gone into the wind, and while for Anasilia, just looking to try and drop as many weapons as humanly possible, but Vanya, a safe pair of hands in the end. 7-4, G2 climbing back into it.
So are KC. 3 players here early, a barrage of utility, and it all comes down to the Battle of the Neons, with Alkia leading the charge, finding the frag, and the trade out immediate as she falls.
And try to go back.
In all the
They're
chaos
pushed.
has teleported into their spawn, but they're aware. You can see Safia clearing this herself, but the players on the B site, they could be in danger, seeing a lot of presence on B. But now that time has passed, they'll expect someone up top. The Hunter's Fury close to finding Mimi, but the mark is missed, and Anasia is the one to fall.
She's tried to make a move. I feel like the secondary controller may have that extra little benefit when it comes to the defense, the extra delay, the metal being thrown into the choke to make all the players vulnerable, lose HP as they do. It's the possibility, but jury's still not out on that one. Amy well placed, but Alkia has just had hers and everybody else's number.
Playing retake,
so
but
far
then
in this server.
one player is just aiming, like full committed to sides. And it's not that player's fault, but either we're strongholding or we're retaking. But what are we doing?
That we've seen go throughout this stage, dropping, what, 3 maps total, never 2 in a series, never losing those BO3s. Well, now, history could be undone.
Let's go, you see? Now we play together, we retake and we win.
With great success, leaving just GX and a relatively dominant pistol. Stun goes through, Alkia's ahead of it, but caught by Nello. Glance managing to find one, it's a second. Added up in her favor, and the spike retrieved. They've gotten out with it. They've spotted Akita up top. This is dangerous. They have a real chance, but the back not cleared. Mimi,
bro, they stole our stinger
to thread
strats.
the needle through and find that pick. It leaves KC needing a solution, needing a pick, needing some space to fight from, and they might not find it. That was ambitious to go for the hip fire with the outlaw, and it's left in a GX's hands. A slow start from her on this map, but at no point can you count her out. 9 rounds for KC.
All in all, it doesn't really matter. And when you look at what the purchase is for G2 Gozen, they haven't forced back up. They don't have the finances to do it. And that means that you've got rifles galore for KC versus a couple of sheriffs.
Glance up against her former banner.
They're gonna stun her,
And
blind
almost
her.
single-handedly burning it to the ground in so many of these rounds. Safi and GX, though, they take the reins for this one.
That happened.
Oh, G2, but without so much as a pick, so much as a kill to write
nice
home
shot.
about
To what we've seen so far in the group stage. Akita looking to try and take this one into her own hands. Has support, has utility, has
Akita is dead.
things being thrown in behind. And while Vania is there, what a difference a couple of moments can make for G2 Gozen from a flawless round going one way to the potential of the same in the other direction.
I mean, guys, let's be
Spike
honest.
down.
If we play like this, we lose against
Safi, or at least with a sniper,
KC, we
that is
lose
one
against
shot kill
SK,
to
we lose
every
against
single
Giant
player
X, we
in
lose
front
against
of her
Twisted
currently.
Minds, we lose against any playoff
Still
team.
is easier said than done.
I'm just being honest. Like, today was a really bad day.
And even if it's not done, fair share
can
of
still come back,
disadvantages when it comes to the next half. And an outlaw,
Yeah, keep
better not
juicing it,
count
Bruno.
out.
Keep juicing it.
a real chance here for
Thank you,
Safi to
Bruno.
at least make this more
Yeah, Bruno.
costly. What was that shot? If there was a second bullet in the chamber, this could have been
Motherfucker.
dangerous. But me,
I mean, clearly everything has
Thing
been
is,
really
though,
bad
this is
today.
just
If
a
not,
ruse.
you don't lose like
Hoping to battle the other
3-13
side
and
of the map, fighting
are
through
losing
the
this map. Like,
smokes.
what is that, for
Every piece
example?
of util thrown in behind it, and while Mimi will take one, but Nello has been removed
We're just
from
leaving
action.
Nello on an island,
An
and there's two
immediate
people on side.
cross
So,
from
well, Vania
Vania.
just
That was
pulled
from
it
the
to her.
shadows used just to get back into position, but well, the same could be said on the other side. Just
Nah, I
right
think
into
Breach is
the
good
A
on this
side.
map.
Fair play.
I really think so.
yeah, this is the thing about G2's space taking. It's very telegraphed. It's very clear, and a quick adjustment sends KC in the other direction. And Sia holding the line, the back line that is, and Safi is here to back her up, trading her out as Alkia looks to close the round, and just like that, back to winning ways for KC.
Wanted to
Guys,
improve
it's
lot,
not a
wanted to
comp
change.
issue.
I'll be
We're
interested to
not
see if
losing
this
because of
composition
Breach.
comes
We're not
back,
losing
'cause
because of Clove.
Again,
We're
I
not
don't
losing
wanna
because
harp
of
on a
Gecko.
singular agent,
We're
but
losing
I
because we
haven't
have
yet
worse
seen
firepower,
the value
worse team play,
that maybe
worse
would have been
individual
expected
decision
unless it was
making.
just a
Like,
confidence pick or
everything
something that
compared to
worked well
KC
in
today has
prior
been worse.
matches or script.
KC not in a hurry, not in a rush. I'm actually surprised to see them moving back in this direction. They've lost so much space. They've lost contest. They missed their cage on the cross, knowing now that Rubble could be taken late. It's a bit of a gamble, and perhaps representing the pistols that are in play, the Rolling Thunder. They wanted them to take this space, perhaps luring them into a trap, and now it's sprung. But it's KC that are caught with 2 picks going their way.
It's a good
G2 have Amy caught in a corner, support on its way. It's just the pistols, but they've got them now. A beautiful response indeed as G2 find themselves just up against
That was
GX.
good.
What a round this is to step up like this. The Rolling Thunder working wonders on that retake of space.
Yeah, they might have.
Oh, the gap closing, indeed.
She's going forward.
Sprays. Aiming for damage, but Nello's not deterred.
Don't do it.
She wants to go running through this.
I know
It's
she
all
has
about
ult, but
timing here. Oh,
is it
an
realistic?
opportunity presented, but in the end,
But now they just run away.
down the aggressive play, the ult pop to try to get after those players running to the A site, but instead Safia was, you have no idea where the hit's coming in, so forward goes Vanya to try to plug that gap, to take back the info. But instead, more space is claimed by KC as a result.
A solo push there as well. Like,
Both voice lines.
I would say it again.
Might
The
not be
individual
dead yet,
decision making is
It seemed
some
like
of the
they were
worst
very
I've
close
seen
to being dead.
ever.
Alkia already adding another to the death toll in this round, and
And Mimi doesn't expect
and
that
she's
close.
got it absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
That lit And what Amy is boxed in.
I mean, I don't know what to say, guys. It's
the only thing that might be able to save her here is the
it's just
spike.
today we were clearly
Safia,
worse. I really don't know what to say.
With another.
On the defensive side with this comp, with how things are going, it's not looking like they will. Alkia feels like 50% of the time this ult is popped. It's a 4K that's found. G2 rightfully standing back. They'll play the retake. And a difficult one it shall be.
Paranoia is going to go through into half of the team, but
nice.
It's the Bucky that meets them on the other side. Alkia's ultimate. Gone, but the opposing one is ready and waiting. It doesn't last long at all. Falling like flies. Of course, the Hunter's Fury is going to connect. Would you doubt anything more? And a 13-7 victory will send KC further forward.
Lower bracket run it is.
They had struggles in.
As always, thank you for supporting, thank you for being here. It was a rough day today, but you know, like we gotta be there for the team in the good days, but especially on the not so good days. So yeah, let's send them some love because trust me, they're the ones that feel it the most. Bye guys.